Shalom everyone, hope everyone's doing really well. Now I think it was in my previous video, and I believe it might have been in my first testimony, I mentioned that I came to realize and believe that Allah was definitely not the true God of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, and this video will sort of tell you why. Now the Quran makes it absolutely clear that Allah has no partners and no sons. However, before Muhammad was born, Allah was actually the name given to the main deity or god in Mecca, who was said to have three daughters. And those three daughters were called Allat, Al-Uzza, and Manat. And they were said to be Allah's intercessors. Now, back in those days, Muhammad's parents, Amina and Abdullah, were also pagans. So I think it's fair to say that, Muhammad spent his childhood and teenage years even as a pagan. There is a guy called Hisham ibn al-Kalbi who wrote about Muhammad and kind of disclosed Muhammad's pagan origins. And he wrote, "We have been told that the Apostle of Allah once mentioned Al-Uzza, which is one of the goddesses, one of the three daughters of Allah. And Muhammad was said to have said, 'I have offered a white sheep to Al-Uzza while I was a follower of the religion of my people.'" So I think it's clear to see and clear to say that Muhammad kind of admitted to being a pagan. Now, one time Muhammad actually told his Muslim followers that it was okay to venerate those three daughters of Allah as his intercessors. He allowed the veneration of them. That was actually accepted by the Muslims back then, and the passage became part of the Quran. However, later on, Muhammad actually retracted what he had said and blamed everything on the devil, saying that the devil had put those words in his mouth. Now, the verses in the Quran that talk about the three goddesses, the three daughters of Allah, I won't actually read because clearly it has been changed, the wording has been changed. But if anyone is interested, I will give you the chapter and verse numbers, so you can check it out yourselves. So the chapter is 53 of the Quran, verses 19 to 23. Now, I have actually always said that I do believe that Muhammad existed, as weird as that sounds. I've always said that I don't believe that he was the true prophet of our true Elohim. And I've also stated many times that if Allah was or is, a pagan god or a moon god, then sure, Muhammad is his prophet. And yes, I just mentioned that Allah is a moon god. Now, before Muhammad was born, the Arab pagans in those days actually worshipped, the moon god Allah, and, he was worshipped by praying towards the Mecca, making annual pilgrimage to the Kaaba, circling it 7 times. What else? Making animal sacrifices, touching and kissing the black stone. So pretty much everything that today's Muslims are doing. And unfortunately, Islam is the religion that practices, all those pagan rites, of the moon god. And, I think it's also clear to see why, the crescent moon is also placed, on minarets, on mosques, on Islamic jewelry. And it's really sad that Muslims still to this day believe that they are the true monotheistic religion and that they are the ones who are worshipping the one true God. And unfortunately, that is just not the case. And I suppose not all Muslims obviously, believe or think that they are worshipping a moon god. Not all Muslims actually know why, the crescent symbol is the symbol of Islam. And I know many Muslims watching this will be very angry, as they are with most of my videos that I've been making, for the pure fact that I'm suggesting such facts, or in my opinion, facts, that I'm suggesting that Allah is a moon god and not the god of, everyone. But I think no amount of anger, no amount of threats even, no amount of denial can change the fact that, in my opinion, Islam is nothing more than a modern version of an old pagan religion, of the moon god. And I think, you can be mad at me all you want, but in my opinion, Islam is not a monotheistic religion. Islam was never a monotheistic religion. And I think, I would suggest to the Muslims to hopefully do your own research, to really dig deep, read, and not just believe every word that comes out of all the imams' mouths, all of the preachers' mouths. And you don't have to take my word for it. I know many of you are saying you're lying about many things, but as I said, if I'm lying, then your Allah is lying, and that means the Quran is false. And in my opinion, Islam is pure paganism from start to finish. And I really pray that Muslims come to see that too, so they don't offend our Father, the true Elohim, because they are practicing pure paganism, in my opinion, and that is really, really sad. And they keep claiming that Islam is such a pure monotheistic religion, and yet from their God, Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, to the 3 daughters that Allah has, it's clear to me and many other ex-Muslims and other people that, like I said, there's nothing monotheistic about Islam, and that it's pure paganism. And I will leave it at that. I just sort of wanted to do a really short video stating the fact that Allah actually might not have a son, but he definitely has 3 daughters, and that is polytheism to me, and definitely not monotheism. So I will leave it at that, and until next time, shalom.